so great to see you.
I like your hat.
Thank you.
I don't like hats on me, but I love hats on other people.
Thank you. I love your sweater. It looks gorgeous. I'm wearing it. I promise I have clothes.
I go with jeans.
Okay.
Even though I don't feel like black and blue goes together, I'm like, this is totally a jean sweater.
Oh, but you're totally looking fancy, looking very good. I love it. How are you today?
All right, are you ready?
I'm ready, girlfriend.
Don't worry, I won't touch it after. Every time I touch the computer, it makes my camera go off. I got it now.
All right, we're in. We had a rough start, but we're here.
That's all right. Makes a good story.
Right. It would be boring if there were no trials before the triumph, right? All right. So, hello, everybody. I am your host, Sierra Renee, and we are talking Champagnehour. We are actually not having champagne. This is figurative champagne because we're celebrating Miss Jessica Stroud, our new guest. Hello, Jessica.
Hey.
Introduce yourself.
Hi. Welcome to the Champagne Hour, where we're not really drinking champagne, but it's during the day. So If we were to drink champagne during the day, that would be just a little too much extra.
Wouldn't it, right? So we're going extra, we're going big, but not too big right now, right? Like we're taming it right now. So
That's exactly right.
Right. So I was super excited to meet up with Jessica and get in touch with her because her brand, the way she presents herself, everything about her screams luxurious. It screams boss woman, power presence. So I had to have her on to come and talk. I want to talk about your brand, SHERULES, and everything. We're going to spill the bubbles.
I got it. I got all the stories, all the experiences. It's all good. Just like right before we jumped on here, we were talking, and I said, that's all right. It makes for a good story, right? So that's how I look at so many things in my life. I'm like, all right, makes for a good story. And if you don't have stories, what else do you got?
It's so true. You're so right. So I just want to jump straight into it and just start chatting. So I am so curious about SHERULES. How did it come about? What was the genesis? What is the origin story? What inspired you to start SHERULES?
The SHERULES is a new thing for me, right? So I am 44, so your girl's been around the block a couple times.
Love it.
And I've been married to my husband for 18 years, and we've been together 20. And I like to joke that, babe, you've been married to 3 different women: me in my 20s, me in my 30s, and me in my 40s, right? But what you and I understand is, if we're not evolving, we're stuck. And
right.
So I'll start with a little bit of the origin back to. So my life completely changed about 7 years ago. In late 2015, well, okay, look, it's changed a couple of times, but the most recent change, right? Where it's like the earth shatter, where you can pinpoint different parts in your life, and you're like, that's when it changed. That's when it changed.
Right.
So I guess the first major change was I was a realtor for about 10 years in my 20s. Okay. And then the real estate market in 2009 gently said to me, it's time for you to go, right? Everything was changing. Oh my gosh, everything I knew was changing, and I was so young at the time, and I couldn't shift with it. And so for those of you who aren't aware, it's the exact opposite of what we have now, okay? Right now, everybody's running around talking about, we don't have any houses. Well, what happened then was there were so many houses, so many foreclosures, short sales, but there wasn't enough people to purchase the houses.
Right.
So, I mean, it was... And then if somebody did want to buy a house, the market had shuttered so much that lenders were like, you got to have perfect credit. You got to have all this money down. So anyway, that was when I had stepped away from being an entrepreneur for the first time. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, what happened with that was, it was this perfect storm of, we had our first son in 2008 and our second son in 2009. You know, my boys are 14 months apart, right? One baby's crazy enough, and you got two babies, right? Look, they're 13 and 14 now, so it's all good now. But then, so what happened was, and then I was leaving a career that had been my identity, and unfortunately, the story that I carried with myself for many years was that I failed, right? You failed at real estate. Never mind that for 7-8 years, I was great at it. But unfortunately, it's the end that we carry with us. And so, you know, again, a blessing in disguise. Everybody likes to say, oh, everything happens for a reason. And it's easy to say to other people, but it's not easy when it's your own story, right?
Right.
Until you're looking back.
Right.
So I left, went into corporate America. I was there for many years, had some great success in there. I like to joke that I was on the 11-year bachelor's degree program. Look, I hear some people can do it in 4 years. She's a girl 11 years, okay? But
you still did it though. That's what matters, right?
But I got it, right?
You got it.
So then I was in pharmaceutical sales, and let me just tell you, that's if you can get that job, that's a good job. I'm not going to lie to you, right? So I was in. But it's corporate. It's corporate.
Right.
And anyway, I was not a big, I don't do well in corporate, okay? Because this whole pink hair and all that, it wasn't going to fly in corporate.
Right.
So around late 2015, I just remember October of 2015, I started to hear this rumbling, right? And look, ladies, I want you to call it whatever you're comfortable with, okay? Whether you want to call it universe, source, God, whatever you're comfortable with.
Exactly.
I was hearing this voice. I was hearing this voice that said, step out of the boat. And I was like, step out of the boat? But look, it's warm in the boat. There are medical benefits in the boat.
It's comfy.
There's a company car in the boat.
Okay.
Why am I going to step out of this boat, right?
Right. Blind faith, though.
Exactly. And so you know what it's like when you're hiding. You know what?
Right.
Ladies, you know when you're hiding.
Right.
When you're called to do something bigger, but you're hiding.
Right.
So I went to my husband, who at the time owned an insurance agency, right? Just an auto, home, small business insurance agency. And I said to him, good news, babe. Good news. Because look, I can spin anything, right?
Right.
We can spin
I'm leaving the boat.
It wasn't just I'm leaving the boat. We are leaving the boat. And so I said to him, I want to come and work in the insurance agency with you. I want to come and help build something for our family. And the reason why this was so big for me is because I was scared. I was scared to death, right? I was scared about, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? Because again, I was still carrying this story of, you failed as an entrepreneur before. Yeah. That was a story I told myself. And so I went to my husband, hey, good news. I want to do this. And he says, that's a problem. And I'm like, what do you mean that's a problem? And he said, well, like so many other families, we're a 2-income family. Right. And he says, you have a salary, you have bonuses, you have medical benefits. Right. Like, you carry the medical benefits and they're really good. And he says, and you have a company car. He says, you have a company car. If you leave, I have to buy you a car, and you like really nice cars. I'm like, I do like nice cars.
And that's okay.
So that's where the whole, I'm telling you, that was the most scary thing I had ever done, I think. And it was one of the best things I ever done. Now, when you're younger, right? When I was in my 20s and I was doing all that, you can burn all the bridges, right? You can say, burn it all. I'm just going to quit my full-time job. I'm just going to go all in. And if you are in a position in your life where you can do that, I absolutely applaud you. I've done that before. I was not in that position.
Right.
I wasn't going to follow this dream or follow this calling if it meant I was going to put my family at financial risk. I just wasn't going to.
Right. Yep.
So what happened was, so from right away, from the start, it was, okay, the goal out of the gate was, I have to replace my income.
Yep.
Before I can quit my full-time pharmaceutical sales job, I have to replace my income. So at this time, I maybe had, like, social media was just starting to be a thing. Or, okay, I know that seems like forever ago, but in 2016, social media was not what it is now.
Right.
And I had about 150 friends on Facebook. That was it. That's all I had, right? So for all of you ladies that have more than 150 friends, you're starting off way more than me. So how many do you have? 155. You have more than 150. Yep.
Yeah.
So everyone who has more than that, who's starting, you're way better off than I am.
Right.
So I had to literally start from scratch as an insurance agent, as somebody who would generate leads and bring in the business. Okay. So for me, it was, how am I going to find people that need what I have?
Yeah.
And I had to turn to the internet. I knew social media and the internet was going to be how I would do it, but I didn't know how, and I had to figure it out.
Right.
So long story short, that first year, I kept my pharmaceutical sales job until September, like the 1st of September, and then I was able to leave. But just within that year, that first year when I was still working a full-time job, I received over 300 referrals that year.
Wow. Insane.
And then moving into the next year, I get over 600 referrals.
Wow. So you just kind of went. Wow.
Just by what I do on social media. Yep. Just by what I do on the internet.
All right.
I had to figure it out. Like, your girl was on a desperation is an incredible gift. Let me tell you. So that all led into, I had a mentor at the, still, who was my mentor.
Yes.
And he said to me, I know you think that it's just you playing on the internet. That's not playing. Like, you have a system. Whether you think you have a system or not, you have a system because you are getting repeatable results, right? So now looking back, for 6 years in a row, I average over 500 referrals a year. And he says, that's a system. That's consistency.
Right.
So that and he said, you need to extract the system and you need to teach it to people. And I'm like, oh, all right. You want me to run my mouth more than I already do? All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's have a good time with that.
Yes. I'm here for it. I love that. So when you started, whoops, are we a little delayed? By the way, I think we're a little bit delayed. I promise I'm not being rude and talking over you, Miss Jessica. I think we're a bit delayed.
It's your show. You do whatever you want.
Oh my gosh. No, I really don't want to talk over you. I think we're a bit delayed in sound, but no, I wanted to kind of ask, I wanted to interject and say, like, okay, so when you started running your mouth, how did that look? What did you say to the world? What did you?
The first piece of advice that I would give is, it can be uncomfortable. So if you're going to grow your business, if you're going to grow your business big,
yes,
it has to be a situation where it's like all eyes on me.
Yeah.
And look, I was born in the middle of nowhere, Missouri, right? I was born in Warrensburg, Missouri. Most people have no idea where that's from.
Yeah.
I did not grow up in an environment where it was like, shine your light. You do you. God made you an individual. Go after it.
Right.
Speak your truth. That was not the environment that I grew up in. And so when I first started doing my deal on social media, I had to be more than an insurance agent. I had to be someone that people wanted to be around, right? Because if you get on social media, here's the biggest thing that I have to help my women through is, if you get on social media and all you do is talk about your business, you are turning people off. How do I know if I want to do business with you? I don't even know if I like you. I don't care about what you sell. If I don't like you, I don't even want to work with you. So even from the beginning, it was this message of empowerment and encouragement And then about 25% of the time it was, and if you need auto and home insurance or small business insurance or whatever, that's what it was. But I had to share my heart and then share my service.
Yeah, of course.
That's how it all started.
I love that. Big snaps for you, honey. First and foremost, let's applaud those strides, because that took bravery. I am a big fan of entrepreneurs who create breakthroughs with these kinds of situations where maybe the internet is not as popping, or there's something new emerging like metaverse, and we create something that is just really dynamic. So, I mean, you were ahead of the curve with that, and that's super awesome. I love the way you even told your story about the whole kind of like 80-20 thing, because I remember people thought that I was crazy that I talked about my personal life online. And they were like, well, why would you do that? Like, why are you sharing those things? It's supposed to be private. And the thing that I was explaining to folks, and I teach the same thing, is, you do have to share a bit of yourself because you're online. Nobody knows you. We've got to come to this point of true networking and connection, right? But I can't connect with you if I don't know who you are. So I'm a really big fan of the genesis of SHERULES, for sure. I do want to talk about you being the referral queen, because that's what I'm calling you, the referral queen, okay? With the being in all caps. So we got to talk about gaining quality referrals, and you don't have to get all your secret sauce away and tell us everything. But what can you say to the listeners about obtaining these referrals? Because your retention rate is insane. It's crazy.
So much like all of the really good nicknames, other people called me that before I called myself that. Mm-hmm. So my friend Thomas started calling me that a couple of years ago. And he's like, you're the queen of referrals. You're the referral queen. Mm-hmm. And it's a perfect example of, you're looking around, you're just doing your thing, right? We all have special gifts and we all have things that make us different. And I was just doing my thing. And I'm like, it's not normal to get 500 referrals a year. And my people around me are like, no, that's not normal. That's not what people do. And I'm like, that's not, because that almost was like my superpower until I realized I had a system, until I realized, oh, wait a minute. Right. It's the small things that you're doing daily that do that. And so the way I began to work through that, and I accept that as my identity now. That's right. I got it. It's good. But it wasn't, I tell you, and because you're a business owner, but we think it's 50 different things that we have to do every single day. Yep. But it's not. It's just a few things. And what the biggest thing I preach about is consistency, right? So the people on social media, on the internet, on YouTube, on TikTok, whatever your jam is, okay, whatever you're doing, you have to do it consistently. So for me, the platform was Facebook, just because of the way Facebook goes. I can develop relationships. And when I talk about these 500 referrals, I live in Kansas City. So if you drop a pin on Kansas City, the referrals that I'm getting are about all within a 60-mile radius of Kansas City. We're not even talking about nationwide, because we don't write insurance in all the states. We write insurance in Kansas and Missouri, and not even on the outskirts, just within the city. Wow. So I had to show up consistent, because on social media, if you're there and you're present and you're running your mouth, look, I don't mean that in a bad way, right? But that's how I'm going to go run my mouth again, right? So if you're consistently showing up, people are thinking about you. But when you're gone, they're not thinking about you. Ooh. So so it's like, nobody's like, hey, I haven't seen you on social media for 3 days. What are you doing? That's not it. That's not how the socials work. It's when I see you, I think of you. When I don't see you, I don't think about you. So you have to be in this, you have to be on the socials on a regular basis, posting your message, doing that, because people need to see you and think about you before they even need what you have to offer.
Wow. Major key. Major key. And I love that because so many people feel that their content doesn't matter. They're posting all the time. Oh, all good. Okay. All good? Awesome. All right. No, but I had to go ahead and get rid of this hat. Okay. But no, so many people feel that, posting online is useless. And I do believe in a strategy. So I love the fact that you said you had a specific system that was applicable to your business. That's really important, especially when we're sharing information about how to blow up on the internet and how to utilize the internet to make money. I definitely like to stress the art of having a strategy. You don't want to just post and just have, whatever going up. You really want to be intentional about what you're doing. So when it comes to the whole referral thing, I love that you were speaking of out of sight, out of mind. People got to see you and you've got to show up every single day and be committed to showing up. So I'm a big fan, and the fact that you're coming with your pink hair and your pink Jeep and you're letting people know that, hey, this is what I do, and you're going to want to work with me. That's amazing because not many people have the guts to get online and do something like that. And then on top of that, to be able to retain that amount of referrals. You are insane, girlfriend. I love
it. The definition of insane the me that you see today has very much been 6-7 years in the works, right? So if you go back and look through, you don't want to, but if you wanted to, you can go back and look through my content for the last 6 years. And every time when my memories pop up, I'm like, oh, that's so cringy. Why did I even say that?
Been there.
But I have to leave it there because it's the journey, right? And so when I first started doing videos and it was too close to my face and I was nervous and I was looking around and not looking at the camera and Lord, what was I doing with my eyebrows? And I had to get I had to get over that. I had to look, just like you just said, perfectly how you just said, intentionality, intentional with your social media. I had to be real with myself and say, I'm on social media for two things: to shine my light and cash checks.
Yes.
People don't want to say that, but that's why I'm here. Spread my message and build wealth for my family.
Thank you.
That's what I'm here for. So if something pops up with a bunch of drama on it, you and I are like, it's not helping me spread my message.
Right.
And it's not helping me cash checks.
There you go.
Peace out. I'm not even going to comment on that.
Bye-bye.
So when people come to me and they say, the first thing that people wanted from me was, well, teach me how you get lots of referrals. Teach me how you get lots of referrals. And I'm like, all right. So of course I do teach that, and we do that, and there's systems around that. But what I realized was the referrals. So what happened when I started, when you get referrals, and you get them consistently, your world changes. Okay. You're not worrying about where's my next client coming from? Where's my next deal coming from? Where's my next paycheck coming from? So what it's almost like I quickly outgrew this whole, the system I created, which was referrals without asking, because I realized it was so much more. The referrals were just the linchpin that once I figured that out, I became a better wife. I became a better mom. I became a better business owner. I became a better investor, right? I became so much more comfortable with who I am because I wasn't stressed about where's the next deal coming from. And that's how the SHERULES came about, was we all have a set of rules that we're living by. Okay. Most of us, it comes from our families, the way we grew up, the stories that we told ourselves in our early years. But we have these rules that we're living by, but we don't know why. We don't know why. Like, why do I do this every day? Why do I do this? Why do I do that?
Right.
And so I just had to it was just a couple of months ago, actually, with the SHERULES, where one of my friends says, I'm big about life by design, right? I design my own life. And she says, but it's more than that for you. It's, you write your own rules. And I'm like, oh, I do write my own rules. So even with the referrals, I dictate how people send me referrals. Wow. Does that sound ridiculous?
No, never. You make these rules. We're here for the groundbreaking-ish. Okay.
So I write the rules around, this is how you refer me business. This is how you interact with me. And I'm not, it's not in a bossy or mean or dictator kind of a way. It's, right. I truly believe, ladies, you have to truly believe that when people come into your sphere, when women come around me and they come into my light, I truly want to make their lives a better place. All right. So I give. And I'm real honest about, but there are things that I expect in return when I give. I'll help you grow your business. Wow. I'll help you have a better marriage. I'll help you be a better mom. I'll help you create a circle that supports you and wants to send you referrals. Mm-hmm. But if you're in my circle, there's a certain way that we behave. We have standards. We have goals. Yeah. We're a little upper level. And so my girlfriend Danelle said to me, she said, you write your own rules. And I was like, that's exactly what I do. And she's like, and you help other self-driven women write their own rules. Yeah. And I was like, that's exactly what I do. So again, it was someone else who I trust and talk to and seek advice from that sees truth in me that I couldn't see in myself. Because what happened with social media was I wrote my own rules around my social media. And that's truly how I average over 500 referrals a year. And that's what I teach, is just the rules that I wrote around social media.
Right. Big deal. And that's such a groundbreaking thing, like I said before, because we're all about it. Doing business is not a one-size-fit-all type of thing. So I love that you're kind of almost curating the energy that you want to have around you. And when it comes down to your friends in your circle, being a mom, having a family, like those things are extremely crucial. So I think that by way of bettering yourself in business, you allowed that to extend over into your personal life. And that's a huge deal for us here as well, because we believe that it's not just about the business. It's not just about, like, we love money too. And I love that you were so honest about that. Like, yeah, I'm here to cash checks. I want to get paid, because so many online entrepreneurs are scared to look greedy, or as if they're trying to do all these ill things. And I mean, you cannot be afraid to be transparent and honest about what you're here for, because that's how you get exactly what you want. And I love the way you articulated that. If you want something out of your efforts, be intentional about it, but also make those rules. So it's all coming together. I love this. Can we also talk a little bit about curating your circle? How does that look for you? Because it is very difficult to have support when you're an online entrepreneur. And I know that you guys definitely work locally, is what it sounds like as well. But let's talk to the women who are kind of remote too, because it's hard out here.
So we when we're growing up, we have friends because of who lives in the neighborhood and who do we sit next to at school and who do we sit next to at lunch. And then you move on to college if that's your path, and that's how you meet people. Or you move on to a trade school or the military, and that's how you meet people. Or you're in different organizations, and that's how you meet people. Right. But you start to get a little older, and it's like, how do I actually meet people? And the answer for me is social media, right? So if you go into Facebook, and there's all these different Facebook groups, that's what Facebook really wants, is for everyone to come together and be in community, right? So for me, it was, I want to spend time with other women entrepreneurs who have goals, and who, you have to make a list, right? Okay, so look. Years ago, I was one of those really smart girls that got married when I was 20, and I didn't even last long. And so married, divorced by like 21, 22-ish, right?
I love it.
So when I sat down the second time, I was like, all right, I know I'm going to get married. I know I'm going to have kids. I made a list of what I wanted in a husband. And then I had a whole different story. But then I had to say to myself, okay, what would this man want in a woman? And had to go work on myself for a while, but that's all right. But I know what I'm looking for in friends, right? I want people who I can help make their life a better place, but they can also make my life a better place. Women entrepreneurs who have goals and are trying to do things. Now, there are other mom friends that I hang out with, but I can't talk to my mom friends about, okay, here's the ad spend on this, or here's the retention rate on that, or hey, I got to go to, head off to Tampa to go speak at this women's event. Logistics here and there. I can't have those conversations with my mom friends. So you have to be very intentional. Again, you write the rules of your life. And if you want to have a circle of people who support you and that challenge you, because one of the rules for me is you don't come into my circle and say, oh, Jessica, I love you just the way you are. I don't do that, right? I don't do that. I come in and I say, I want people who say to me, that was awesome. That was amazing. What's next? What else you got?
Go bigger.
What else you got? That's what I want.
Right. Challenging. I love that message. Have women around you who are uplifting you and having you expand out of your comfort zone. Beautiful stuff. Huge fan of that. So, because we hear so much about it in the coaching industry. So I want to know your perspective on it and how it's helped you. Is it actually beneficial? Like what's the tea? What are the bubbles on the Forbes Business Council, and how did it contribute to your success?
All right. So I am on the Forbes Coaches Council, and this is something you have to qualify for. So I would say that the Forbes Council has not contributed to my success. Now, I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that you have to have your business in a certain spot. You have to have a certain amount of success before you even can get on the phone and interview with them to be on the council. Now, it has absolutely helped me spread my message further. It's a notch in my belt that I love. It helps to bring me more credibility. But the most important thing is you have to be in a place where they'll even accept you. So even just being accepted was a huge thing. But not to sound terrible, but it didn't help me get here. It will help me in the future. It looks good on the resume. It looks good on my press kit. But the work I had to do to become a person that they accepted was way more important than getting accepted.
I love that. It was a process, working from the inside out. That's a huge deal. Woo, that was like so eloquently put. I really do love that. Because I wanted to know, as a PR girl, I was like, well, hey, Miss Jessica, what's going on with the council? Because I've heard so much about it. And I wanted to know directly from an insider about what their experience was. And then I also want to kind of touch on how the internet helps you make the dollars. We've kind of spoken about that and gone over that. That's been the theme of the podcast, right? But let's talk a little bit about, what advice you would have for women who are trying to make it online and do their best and get that money, cash checks, because we both have that in common, and we're very, very open and transparent about, hey, listen, I'm here to make the dough.
The biggest thing about the internet is you have to realize that social media is no longer an option. Like, it was optional for years. If you want to grow your business, it's not the same as going and doing Google AdWords or ad spend on the internet. Social media is no longer an option. It is all encompassing. And if you are not working on consistently a social media presence, like, you can go and Google me right now. You type my name in Google, you're going to find me on the main pages. You're going to find me in the main pictures. You're going to find me on the main videos. And that takes years to do. I didn't spend any any money doing that. It's just because I consistently put out the content and the videos and the articles and all of that. You have to start now. Social media is free. I like to joke that God gave me social media and then he made it free. Like, come on now.
I love it.
Social media, Facebook, Instagram. I'm not quite into the TikTok. I'm working on it. Social media, Facebook, Instagram is no longer optional. Okay. That's it. If I have one thing to say about making money on the internet, stop making social media optional. It is no longer optional.
Yes, ma'am. I agree. And that's a message that I also kind of expand on in my work. So I really do love the synergy here, Ms. Stroud, and everything that you bring to the table. I'm a big fan of SHERULES. So I want you to also go ahead and plug yourself, plug your business, tell us where to find you, all that good stuff.
So you can find me on social media just under Jessica Stroud and look for the picture that has the pink hair and the pink shirt and all of that. Listen, no matter how many times I change my profile picture, it's still going to be pink hair. It's still going to be a pink jacket. Okay. Yes. So just look for that. And then on Instagram, I'm Jessica Stroud _SheRules. And then if you want to find me on the interwebs, just go to SHERULES.com and you can look at the books I've written, the book, singular now, going to be plural, the different programs I have. Just go to SHERULES.com and you can find everything there.
Yay! I'm so excited that you came on to chat with me. I want to celebrate you so much because you are a huge personality. I know we were talking through Messenger and you were like, listen, you are going to laugh and we are going to giggle and have a good time. And I totally did. I'm super grateful for your time because you are so eloquent and you've managed to build something super sustainable. And that's what we want to highlight here on this show. Those are the kind of women that we want to showcase. And I just think you were awesome. Your business is awesome.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. So I appreciate you, Miss Jessica. And I thank you so much once again for being a guest on Champagnehour. And we will be speaking soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to talk soon. Goodbye. Goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Same to you. I have less glamorous things to do, but it's part of the mom life. So
oh, it happens. And I hope that you get through it in one piece.
I will. See you later.
See you later, girlfriend.